Hello, Internet. So, today I am reviewing the book, The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherynne M. Valente. Also, shout out, this is a beautiful way to spell Catherine. Also, this cover is amazing. Look at this, it's so beautiful. And I gotta give some credit where credit is due here because it does an amazing job of highlighting the really important parts of the name, and also there's a dragon. Who doesn't like dragons? And this is like just really good advertising. Kudos to the artist who made this. So, I started this book a year ago. And this is no fault of the book. But I have to be clear, I have to provide the disclaimer that there was a year between me starting it and me finishing it. I started it last spring break, and I finished it the one that just happened. So I started it last spring break. It was really interesting. It caught my attention immediately. I love the Green Wind character. I love the whimsical Alice in Wonderland vibe going on. But I did not finish it last spring break, obviously. And because I am a busy student who has a lot of homework, especially last spring break, I didn't really have time for finishing it. I have a lot of attention deficit problems, and it's really hard to motivate myself to read for fun when I have mountains of homework, mountains of writing to do for myself, and I've just got like other things going on. So I didn't finish it, which also means that my perception of the middle of this book is going to be flawed and not accurate, because part of the reason I couldn't quite motivate myself was that for maybe it might have just been a single chapter for all I know, but the middle sagged just enough to not want to finish it immediately. I still wanted to finish it, but the middle sagged just a little bit. Like right around meeting the Marquess is about where I was starting to lose some of my attention. So, yeah. But again, that's not a criticism of the book itself. Well, it is. It is a criticism of the book, because it still sagged enough for me to not want to finish it right away. But with that said, when I did finally get to it, this past break, it was totally worth it. There's many brilliant lines. While the plot itself is really interesting and intriguing, I wasn't sure, like, up until the end, I wasn't sure if I would want to read the other 4 books. I just wasn't sure. Like, how is this going to end? And I knew that the story would end with her going home. September being the protagonist, and the little girl on the cover. Now, I didn't know how I was going to get there. But when I finally got to the climax, the end of the story, holy shit. That was amazing. By the time I saw the climax coming, I was about 2 pages away from the reveal. And even then, the specifics of it, holy shit. I'm really happy about the climax of this story. That makes me want to keep reading it. reading the other 4 books. I now want to know what happens next to September. I want to know about the rest of her adventures in Fairyland and whatever shenanigans go on. I've read some quick synopses of the other 4 books. I'm excited. Probably not going to get to them anytime soon, but I at least want to read them. So the Green Wind. Fictional character crush, not gonna lie, because I was so afraid of him turning out to be a bad guy, because, you know, kind, wholesome characters at the beginning, there's this trope where they end up being bad and evil, which isn't it's not an awful trope, it's just a heartbreaking trope. Like, as a writer, I enjoy that trope sometimes because it's fun to mess with readers, but as a reader, I don't like that trope because my heart is being messed with. But he stays a wholesome character. I really like him. He just cares about September so much. And the world building of this book. Don't mind me, this is my notes. The world building of this is really interesting. Again, it's got a Alice in Wonderland vibe, there's some Narnia vibes, there's the climax of the story gives me All Dogs Go to Heaven vibes because of the clocks. And if you've seen All Dogs Go to Heaven, you should know what I'm talking about. And the story has some really great lines, such as on page 156. She certainly did not see Death stand on her tiptoes and blow a kiss after her. A kiss that rushed through all the frosted leaves of the autumnal forest but could not quite catch a child running as fast as she could. As all mothers know, children travel faster than kisses. The speed of kisses is, in fact, what Dr. Fallow would call a cosmic constant. The speed of children has no limits. Which is a really wonderful line, and is very reflective of the writing style in this, which is wonderful. I love the writing style in this. I love the whimsical, nonsensical magic world. I love nonsensical magic worlds that have weird rules and wacky logic, but they're consistent. Consistent weird rules and wacky logic. And an additional line that I just think is funny, but exemplifies the absurdity of this world. Practice of alchemy is forbidden to all except young ladies born on Tuesdays. That's fucking hilarious. And I was pleasantly surprised when I got to the witches near the beginning of the book. The witches. What are their names? It's a handy character names in list at the front. The dramatis personae. It was hello and goodbye are the 2 witches and their hello, goodbye, and many thanks. The 3 witches. Many thanks being the husband of hello and goodbye. And he's a wirewolf, not a werewolf, a wirewolf. Wirewolves are wolves most of the month, but on the full moon, they turn human. And Many Thanks is the wirewolf, and when he's in wolf form he's the husband of one of the other 2, and when he's human, he's the husband of the other. And they have this humorous, polyamorous relationship, and normally I would be a little more iffy about any type of representation or poly representation, whether you consider poly queer or not isn't really the point right now. For my purposes, I'm going to. And normally, when any type of queer rep is portrayed through witches, I do have a bit of an issue with it. I love witches, but I don't like queer coding. But in this instance, I don't think this is queer coding. I think this is actually a positive representation of polyamory, because witches in fairyland are benevolent, and they're whimsical and treated with whimsical esteem, and they're considered forces of good. They're weird, and they're odd, and they dress really well, because or else magic won't take them seriously if they're not dressed their best. That's the logic of the story. And so, because the lore of the world treats witches so well, I think this is positive representation of polyamory. And I'm really happy about that. And this is a really cute book. It's pretty short, too, I might add. It's 245 pages. Look at this. It's real thin. But, so, again, this is The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making, which is an amazing title. Gotta admit. Yeah, that's what happens for a part of it. There's a while where I was going, when is the circumnavigating part going to happen? But it does. Oh. Also, I know this is a children's book. This is very Alice in Wonderland, but this is Alice in Wonderland with a bit more death. A bit more genocide. Casually mentioned. I'm interested to see where the thing with, September gave up her shadow at some point, which is interesting. And I'm waiting to see how that goes, which is a plot thread that will be in the next book. So, I like the other characters. The wyvern on the front. Can't tell it's a wyvern because as much as beautiful as this art is, the anatomy is a bit weird. So this is A through L. Yes, that's his name, A through L. He's a wyvern, and my criticism of the art is that he's got like front legs and wings, and it looks like there should be back legs, but wyverns don't have anatomy like this. Wyverns have back legs and their front legs are wings. So A through L is not depicted properly as a wyvern. A through L is depicted as a dragon with unknown set of back legs or not. Schrodinger's legs. That's my criticism of the color of the cover, even though it's still really beautiful and still a really great cover. So, if you're interested in fantasy, fairyland, whimsical nonsense with a touch of darkness and genocide, I recommend this. This is a good book. And I should probably give it to the Women's Center here because this would go beautifully in their library, but I don't want to give up my only copy of this book. So one day I'll donate it properly, but it won't be today, and it definitely won't be tomorrow. So have a beautiful weekend. See y'all when I review Stardust by Neil Gaiman. Bye!